Hello. For Pastoral Care Week, I am sharing with you stories from Dr. Rachel Reman's book, Kitchen Table Wisdom. She focuses on different topics. So, yesterday, we imagined sanctuary and where we find that sanctuary. For many of us, maybe right now, we find our place, our space dark. We find ourselves in a place of darkness. So take a moment with me. Close your eyes. Pay attention to your breath. Connect with this present moment. And listen to Dr. Reman's words about in darkness. Light in various forms is commonly regarded as symbolic of the energies of healing. Many self-help books use the sun in healing meditations and imageries. Those of my patients who have read these books have come to expect light to symbolize the source of their healing. But things are not always as we have come to expect, and the mysterious may surprise us, as it did for these two men. The first, a salesman, was referred by his physician because his denial of his disease made it difficult for him to take care of himself. Over and over again, he would do foolhardy things like lifting heavy boxes soon after abdominal surgery and forgetting his medications when he traveled. Essential treatment had been delayed or even sabotaged several times, and he had suffered a great deal of unnecessary illness because of this. Just prior to his visit, he had developed a drug toxicity and all but lost the strength in his right arm. During the 3 days it had taken him to notice this, he continued to take the medication. He finally called his physician only when his wife pointed out to him that he was dropping things. His doctor had taken him off the offending medication. Frightened by the possibility of permanent damage to the nerve in his arm, he had agreed to seek counseling. In our initial conversation, he described his cancer as this black hole in the middle of my life that keeps pulling me in. When an image appears like this in the course of ordinary conversation, it is rarely random and may tell as much about a person's unconscious world, their deepest attitudes and beliefs, as the contents of their dreams. Without our knowing it, the dream maker in us may whisper our secrets directly to others. Steve's choice of words suggested that he was using all of his strength to resist a pull, not to surrender to the force of the disease in his life. Perhaps for him, paying attention to his symptoms and taking prescribed medications came under the heading of surrender. I called his attention to the picture in his words and suggested that it might be saying something important about himself and his life. Perhaps so much of his energy was being used up in resistance that it did not leave him a lot left over to live with. He nodded. I asked him what was in the hole. Just darkness, he said simply. I invited him to explore this with me in his imagination, to allow himself to be pulled into the hole, just to see what it was like. He hesitated only for a moment. Then he closed his eyes and began to enter into his own image. He imagined himself pulling into the hole, into the darkness. The following comments are from my session notes. Each one is separated by several moments of silence. There is darkness, big darkness. I am floating. The darkness is very soft, gentle. It supports me. I have no needs here. I am tired. I am at rest, totally at rest. Every cell is resting. Every cell is open. I am filling up with life. I could not fill up because I could not open up. Let go. I can open up in the darkness. Life is everywhere. Whatever happens, it will be okay. The second man, caught up in a rage at his cancer and its treatment, responded to the question, "What do you think may be needed for your healing?" With a terse, "Nothing." Taking his statement at face value, I asked him to describe nothing to me. "Unending darkness," he said. Commenting on the power of that image, I encouraged him to close his eyes and allow himself to experience it. As his face became more and more relaxed, I asked him how he was feeling. Again, these comments from my session notes are separated by several moments of silence. The darkness is all around me. I'm not falling. It holds me. I am held in darkness, wrapped in darkness. The darkness is soft, almost tender. It's safe here. I needed to feel safe. I haven't relaxed since I got the diagnosis. I can rest. I am so tired. No pain here. No hunger. No need. I encouraged him to let himself relax fully. Watching him, it was apparent that he had slipped into a light trance or doze. I covered him with a soft wool blanket that I keep in my office. After a while, he commented that he could hear a sound like a great heartbeat. It was deeply comforting. I encouraged him to lean up against it, to rest. Soon he began to weep softly, saying, "Mama, Mama." Another patient with cancer, a woman, told me of a dream. She turns a corner on a familiar street and is suddenly confronted by a black-cloaked figure. I call out for help, but there is no one. I am utterly alone with this dark figure. As I turn to flee, the cloak is thrown over me. I struggle, but there is no one in the cloak. Only darkness. It is black, totally black, but somehow I can see. Not with my eyes. The blackness goes on forever. It is very quiet, completely silent, velvety, soft. I am not falling. I am floating in endless darkness, floating. I am free. There is no gravity. My body does not hurt anymore. The darkness is like love. It's very, very good here. It takes me in exactly as I am. There's no judgment. I am not wrong. I just am. These patients and the many others who have had such experiences were taken by surprise by the power of their spontaneous imagery and its form. We often think of health and sickness as an expression of the goodness-evil polarity. Most language reflects this identification. We say, "I feel bad," when we feel sick, and "I feel good," when we recover. Darkness and light are a further extension of this polarity. Healing, as a function of the good, is associated with light, and sickness, as a function of the evil, is associated with darkness. Darkness has suffered bad press for the millennium. Yet is it really so surprising that spontaneous healing imagery may present itself in this way? According to the traditions of alchemy, darkness was the necessary condition for purification and transformation. Alchemists put impure dross metals into a sealed flask, creating the perfect darkness required for the transformation into pure gold. As light represents the archetype of masculine energy, darkness suggests the power of the feminine, and it makes an intuitive sense that the experience of healing may be associated with darkness. Darkness is a condition of the beginning. The body first comes into being in darkness. It is nurtured as a seed in darkness. Some people may find their healing in remembering the beginning. So let us take a moment to reflect on these words. Close our eyes. Take a breath and let it go. And think about entering into the darkness, surrendering ourselves to the darkness, learning from the darkness, and being transformed. Thank you for joining with me in this practice. The theme of this Pastoral Care Week is that chaplains complete the puzzle. So know that we are here for you as your chaplain, to walk with you into those places of darkness, to find sanctuary. It is a journey that each person must take individually. We also offer community. Thank you for your time.